You might remember last year I put out a video of me building my dream studio for gaming and content creation, and that video recently went on to become my first to hit 1 million views. But a lot of things have changed in here since then, with some epic upgrades and massive projects taking place over the last year, and a lot of you have been asking me for this, so today it is finally time for me to do my 2024 gaming room tour. Let's do this. Now, you guys often ask me in the comments about what gear I use in my room, so today I'll be going through a breakdown of everything in here, and if you want to check out any of it for yourself, I will have links to everything in the description. Some of these will be affiliate links, so if you pick anything up, the channel will get a little kickback at no extra cost to you, so it's a great way to help support. And of course, if you have any questions about anything you see in today's video, then feel free to drop those down in the comments. So let's kick things off by taking a look at my main setup. This is my productivity setup where I do all of my content creation work, like filming and editing all of my photos and videos. And it's basically where I spend most of my day. For the desk, I've gone with this large L-shaped design made up of parts from IKEA. The desktops are Ekbak and kitchen worktops, with the main desk being 246 centimeters by 63 and the side a little shorter at 2 meters, and this is where I film a lot of my unboxing and tech review content. The reason I went with kitchen worktops is that they are much sturdier and more durable than IKEA desks, and these have been with me now for a good few years. Also from IKEA, we have the Alex drawer units, which not only look great but are very practical and offer a great storage solution in the setup. Drilled into the tops of the drawers are these furniture risers, which I picked up on Amazon, and I did this for 2 reasons. Firstly, I think it looks a lot nicer than just having the desktops resting on the drawers themselves, and gives the desk a little bit more character. And it also allows me to run both RGB lighting and cable management above the drawers, which looks better and made things much easier when building. For the lighting, I'm using 5 meter long Govee RGB IC strip lights, and I absolutely swear by these and use them all over my room. They are the perfect combination of fantastic looking, reliable, high quality lights with a load of features packed in, which also come in at a decent price, with these particular ones being £40 for 5 meters. For cable management, I have these power strips stuck to the underside of the desk with 3M command strips, and this is where I can plug in all of my gear. Then I stuck a bunch of J-channel cable raceways under here, which run all of the cables from the power strips to the gear on the desk. For any remaining cables, I've used Velcro cable ties to keep everything bundled together nicely out of sight to give this super clean look. Then I also have this USB hub under here too for all my other devices. Finally, for some added support, I have these adjustable IKEA olive legs in the middle of the desk to prevent them bowing or breaking. I am thinking about changing things up and replacing the Alex drawers in the unboxing desk with some storage cabinets which go all the way along, and then still have the unboxing space on top, so keep an eye out for that. Powering this setup is my custom PC build, which has been unchanged for quite some time now. It's rocking an Intel i7-12700K CPU, ROG RTX 3080 GPU, 32 gigs of Corsair 3200MHz DDR4 RAM, 4TB of M.2 storage. Then the fans, cables and case are all from Lian Li, and there is a 850 watt power supply in the back as well. I also added this 7-inch screen from Viraltech, which I think looks really cool. And speaking of cool, I also installed this power switch to turn on the PC, and this is definitely an epic addition. Now, this PC is actually the reason this room tour video is so late in the year, as I was planning on doing a huge upgrade project before putting out this video. But it ended up getting delayed over and over, so I decided to do the room tour now, and then the PC upgrade project will hopefully be coming next month if all goes well. Moving on to the monitors, I'm running this dual stacked wall mounted layout, which has been a staple of my setups for a while now. The bottom monitor is the Innocen 40C1R, which is a 40-inch ultra-wide 1440p 144Hz IPS monitor, and this is what I use for editing all my videos, as it's great for fitting projects on a large screen. Then mounted above is the Gigabyte M27Q, which is a 27-inch 1440p 170Hz IPS monitor. Both monitors are mounted to the wall using wall mounts from Arctic to give this floating look, which I think looks very clean. Then I have another Govee strip light on the back to add some nice backlighting. I'm also planning on doing an overhaul of this monitor setup soon and replacing both of these with OLED monitors, but we'll talk about those plans more later on. Mounted onto the top monitor is the BenQ Screen Bar Halo, and no matter how many people say these light bars are pointless gimmicks, I maintain that they are one of the best inventions for desk setups because they are great for adding lighting without taking up any desk space. Either side of the monitors are my Pioneer DM50D speakers, and these sound fantastic. But as many people point out, they are mounted a little bit too high, so when I redo my monitors, I think I'll move these a little to fix that problem. The speakers are plugged into the heart of my audio system, which is still the Go XLR that I've been rocking for years now. I said a few months ago that I was planning to switch this out for the Rodecaster Duo at some point, and while I am still intending to do that, I just haven't had the time to make the switch yet, as audio setup isn't my strong point, so the change will take a lot of work to get right. Also plugged into the Go XLR is my microphone, which is the Shure SM7DB and is mounted onto the white Elgato Wavearm LP, which I still think is one of the best looking boom arms on the market. Sticking with the Elgato theme, I also have these two key lights in the setup, with the left one also having the Elgato solid arm mount attached, which is holding up my Sony a6400 camera. I used to use this for streaming and facecam shots in my videos, but now it doesn't really get used much apart from video calls and meetings. Elsewhere on my desk, I have the Elgato Stream Deck Plus, which is one of my favorite devices in the whole setup. I use this to control all sorts, from opening all of my apps to controlling my lighting and much more. And I also recently added the brand new USB hub accessory to the back, which is handy for charging devices, connecting them to the PC, and also has SD card slots to transfer content from my camera to my PC. Next to that is this dual wireless charger for my iPhone and AirPods, and my LA Metric Time smart clock, which displays my social stats and is also the oldest remaining device, which has been here since one of my very first setups. Then over here I also have an Amazon Echo Show 8, which controls my smart lights amongst other things. I'm still rocking the custom Tofu 65 keyboard that I built myself with Lude's lavender switches, cherry PBOW keycaps, and is hooked up to a coiled cable from Personal Loot. My mouse is the Logitech G Pro X Superlight 2, and the mousepad is the Gravity design from Key Cadets. Finally, my chair is the Autonomous Ergo Chair Pro, or I think they recently renamed it the Chair Ergo for some reason. And I love this chair because not only is it a great looking chair that matches the vibe of the setup, but it's also incredibly comfortable, which is really important when you spend as much time sat at your desk as I do. To spice things up, I've added a bunch of decorations like this IKEA lac shelf above the setup, which displays a bunch of cool gear, including these deconstructed tech wall art pieces from Grid Studio and this super cool futuristic speaker from Gravastar. Then behind the PC is an IKEA pegboard, which I think is one of the best accessories for setups because you can use it to display all kinds of gear like I have with these keyboards, headset and F1 helmet, but it also costs just £15, so is a great cheap way to add some decoration to the wall. I've also customized mine by adding a Govee strip light behind it for some added color as well. Then above that is my custom neon Spudd gaming sign that I got off an Etsy store, and finally next to that is my Nanoleaf panels. The main setup is still looking fantastic, albeit mainly unchanged, but I do have some big plans for this setup coming soon that I'm very excited about. Moving over to the other side of the room where we have my gaming setup, which is also my fiance's setup. Whereas my main setup is where I do all my editing and content, this setup is solely for gaming. It's been constantly changing and evolving since I first built it, so let's have a look at what it's currently rocking. The desk is the Autonomous Smart Desk Core standing desk, although I never actually use it in standing mode. But this is a great looking desk and matches the aesthetic of the setup perfectly. Again, I've cable managed underneath as best I can, mainly by tying up and bundling cables with Velcro cable ties, and I've also installed this cable vertebrae to tidy up and hide the power cables. The PC in this setup has also undergone a bunch of changes over the course of this year. It's rocking an Intel i7-13700K CPU, Asus TUF Gaming RTX 4090, 32GB of T4 7000MHz DDR5 RAM, 1TB SSD, NZXT Z790 motherboard and Kraken 360 Elite cooler, Lian Li Strimmer Plus cable, and the NZXT H6 Flow case. I recently added the 4090 to the build for a review of the monitor I'm using in this setup, and I haven't fully decided yet whether I'm going to keep it in here for the added gaming performance or switch back to my 4070 Ti because the all-white build looks super clean. Let me know in the comments what you guys think I should do. The monitor I'm currently using is the Asus ROG Swift PG32 UCDP, which I recently did a full review of on the channel. It's a 32-inch 4K WOLED 240Hz 0.03 millisecond response time monitor, which also has a fantastic dual mode feature, which allows you to switch from 4K 240Hz to 1080p 480Hz. And if you want to see more on that, then go ahead and check out the review video. The monitor is mounted to this white desk arm, which I picked up on Amazon and I think looks really clean. And then I'm also trialing this light bar on top of the monitor as well, like I have in the main setup. I've always had the clean and minimal monitor aesthetic in this setup, but I'm trying out the light bar for practicality and to decide whether I like it or not. Let me know in the comments whether you think it looks better with or without. Again, I've added some Govee strip lights behind the monitor for some backlighting, which looks really nice. For the peripherals in this setup, I'm using the Logitech G Pro X TKL Lightspeed gaming keyboard, and I've been liking this as it fits the aesthetics of the setup and also has a great wireless battery life. The mouse I'm using is the glorious Model O wireless, and the simple reason for that is I can't remember where I've put my Model O 2 wireless. The mousepad is another design from Key Cadets. As you can tell, I'm a fan of their work. And finally, the headset I'm using is the Astro A50X from Logitech G, and I love these because they have some of the best sound quality in any headset I've used and can also switch simultaneously between PC, PS5 and Xbox. Speaking of PS5, I also have a slim console in the setup as well for when I feel like jumping into some console gaming rather than PC. And to showcase my DualSense controller, I have this lovely little handcrafted stand from Geek Made Designs. It's a nice, sleek and simple way of displaying it and adds some character to the desk setup. Then to finish things off, I've also got a couple of Funko Pops, fake plants, and these cool little Pokemon terrarium jars. Up above the setup, we have a display of nanoleaf lines to add a little bit of colour to the setup. And finally, for the icing on the cake, I'm rocking this Herman Miller M-Body gaming chair, which is straight up one of the most comfortable chairs I've ever used, but I would hope so with it coming in at £1,500. Overall, this gaming setup has come a long way since I first built it, and I'm really happy with the way things are looking. Now, by far the biggest change to the room is over in this corner. You may remember that I used to have a ladder shelf display here with a few bits and bobs on show, but the corner has now been completely transformed into my racing sim setup. I built this a few months ago and it's already changed loads since then, most recently when I added a bunch of new gear last week, which you can find in my latest video. I won't go into too much detail as you can find many videos on this setup already, but the cockpit is the GT Omega Prime with an RS12 seat, and I've customized it by adding these Govee neon rope lights into the channels on the frame and also some strip lights underneath for some underglow. I'm planning on adding some caster wheels to it as well so that making adjustments is easier and to show off the underglow a little bit better. The monitor I'm using in here is the Aorus CO49DQ, which is a 49-inch ultra-wide QD OLED 1440p 144Hz 1800R curved display, and it is great for racing on. I am, however, planning on making a change soon due to the tight space, and I'm actually thinking of picking up an LG 45-inch OLED instead, which will still be amazing for racing. But then that will free up the 49-inch ultrawide to go into my main setup, along with a 34-inch OLED ultrawide that used to be in the sim, and I will have these double stacked like my current layout. As I said earlier, I wanted to replace my main monitors with OLED, so this is how I'm thinking of doing it. Again, I've added a Govee strip light behind the monitor, this time the M1, which is Govee's high-end lighting to really make it pop. Then finally, all the racing gear is from Moser, including the brand new Vision GS wheel, R12 wheelbase, SRP pedals, sequential shifter, and handbrake. I've been really getting into sim racing this year, and I am absolutely loving using this new setup. It's been an amazing project and I'll be spending a lot of time chilling in here. The sim is powered by the same PC as my gaming setup, although recently I have been considering building a dedicated custom PC solely for the racing sim, so let me know if that's something you'd want to see in the future. To finish things off, I also added some Elgato wave panels behind the monitor and this framed F1 poster from Etsy. Up above the sim, I built these display shelves to replace the ladder shelf that was removed for the sim rig. These are made up of IKEA lac shelves with smaller Moss Lander shelves stuck onto the front to give this deeper effect. And I am planning on adding some lighting to these shelves at some point too. To fit with the racing theme, I've added a big Lewis Hamilton F1 display on the bottom. Then to match the tech theme of the channel, I've also got some graphics cards and tech boxes on display on the shelves above. I'm really happy with the way this has come out, and it really adds another level to the room. Over in the opposite corner is my keyboard display, which is pretty much unchanged from when I first built the room. It's made up of 2 IKEA pegboards and is used to display a collection of keyboards, switches, and a few other little bits as well. I am actually looking into completely changing this corner though in the future, and potentially removing the keyboard display entirely to replace it with something more practical. I haven't fully decided what yet, but I may build some extra storage here for things like PC parts and gear, and then repurpose the pegboards with things like tools and bits that I would need for future PC building projects. So I'd basically turn this corner into a PC building station for everything I need. Who knows how this will end up, but for now it's staying how it is. Then for the final part of the room, on the back wall we have this large nanoleaf display surrounding some small cube shelves. Below that we also have this drawer unit where I've displayed a few cool things like my YouTube play button, Lego Mercedes F1 car, Spider-Man 2 Venom statue, and also this epic framed display of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which recently featured in my coolest gear for your setup video. And there we go, that is everything that is currently in my studio. It amazes me just how much things have grown and changed over the last year, and I am so happy with the way the studio is right now. But I do have a ton of changes and upgrades planned in the main setup, which is going to be fantastic. And the gaming and racing setups are finally in a place that I am super happy with. Let me know what your favorite part of the room is, and if you had the chance to use one of these setups, which one would you pick? And of course, drop any other thoughts on today's video down in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that thumbs up to help push it out to more tech and gaming fans like you. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and to make sure you're part of my upcoming PC giveaway to celebrate hitting 500,000 followers on TikTok and 200,000 followers on Instagram. Thank you all for watching. I'll be back with another video next week. See you later.